Hi, I'm Philip Oliver.
And I'm Andrew Oliver.
Together we're known as the Oliver Twins, and we've been making games for quite a long time, in fact 40 years. But recently we decided that we were going to do a game jam.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, I think some of our games were done in like 48 hours, but these were the 8-bit days. But it was interesting to have a go with our own tool set that we made called RichCast and see if we could make a new game in 48 hours.
When we say we, there's actually a big team behind it. And in fact, doing the game jam, we only used what was accessible to the public. We didn't have kind of any inside sort of programmers or artists or anything helping us. It was just us, just using RichCast that anybody can now get.
We knew that we were going to make some sort of story narrative title.
Which RichCast is great at doing, obviously.
Which is what it's designed to do. And yeah, we wait for theme. It came through as roots. So it's like, right,
bit of a tricky one, that one.
What are we going to do for roots? And obviously they have these very open sort of subjects to make sure that you haven't pre-written a game. And you've got to do a game around that. So a narrative. So we wanted a narrative game around roots. So what would you come up with?
We, with the help of an AI tool, ChatGPT, we basically asked it what it would do if it had to do a story, a comedy story with the theme of roots.
I think we said it was a murder mystery. It was a comedy murder mystery with several characters.
Yeah, and actually it came up with a really good suggestion. We batted it around a bit, we fleshed it out a bit.
And actually, let's go for that.
So we came up with the story of Roots and Shoots the florist, where Basil Green, the owner, is unfortunately shot in the first scene by a drive-by shooter. And you are the detective responsible for finding out who the killer is by interviewing everybody in Little Piddleton, the village.
Okay, so if you're English, you'll sort of know the sort of Midsummer Murders, that are sort of all a quiet little village and nothing ever happens. And it was very popular sort of for about 20 years in the sort of 80s and 90s. Didn't go much further, although I have to say, most people would get the reference from Hot Fuzz, because Hot Fuzz, they decided to make the comedy around the little tiny village where it seems so quaint and quiet, but everyone is covering up murders.
Suspicious.
Very good, what he said.
Everybody's suspicious.
And we just love Hot Fuzz and thought, oh, actually, when we saw the ChatGPT suggestion of this florist story, the funny thing is, it gave us a title as well, but we didn't go with the title, which was "What Grows Around Comes Around," was its title suggestion, which is because that was why it based in a florist, and because it was roots, and it was like, oh yeah, okay, but we didn't go with that suggestion. You got to take, you can't trust these AIs to do everything for you.
No, absolutely not. However, we then set about the task of developing the story. Using sort of Google Docs to sort of flesh it all out and plot it all out, and RichCast at the same time to sort of plot out the actual flow. And then between us, we actually just built out the story and the characters and the scenes. Andrew took responsibility for the art.
Yes. So I can't draw for toffee. Actually, back in the day, Philip used to draw our Disney characters and things.
But the computers are so limited, I got away with it.
Yeah, it's like, but nowadays you actually have to look as though you're a good artist or have good tools. So we use Midjourney, which is an AI tool where you just describe a picture, describe a scene. So I'm tapping away as an AI Wrangler is what they call it, where you sort of say, give me a picture of a Cotswold, because that's the sort of locality, Cotswold florist, and it gives you some suggestions, and then you whittle it down and say sort of different art styles and things.
More flowers out the front, maybe some change the brick colour.
Yeah, a bow windows or whatever with small windows. A bay windows with small panes of glass, so that you've got a sort of look of what you imagined in your head that will work for your story, but it creates the artwork. And then you consistently go through scene by scene, getting it so that it has this consistent look of a vision that you've got in your head, but not being able to draw, I just describe it. It's brilliant because we're used to sort of directing teams. we're used to directing teams of artists for a lot of the games that we've made, but nowadays you can use AI tools to do a fairly effective job.
And you were generating backgrounds, and there were probably, how many backgrounds do you think you did?
10 maybe.
I think it's probably more than that. 15.
I suppose there's
haven't really counted them.
If you go into a cafe, it's got 3 different shots inside the cafe and the outside of the cafe, I suppose.
Exactly.
And you've got the church, and then you go in the graveyard. So okay, yeah, there probably are.
And you got the farm.
Yeah, but you can turn around a really nice picture in sort of half an hour.
Yeah. So and then you have to sort of add all the characters in. So he was like describing all the characters, and then doing like character sheets of all the characters so that you can appear in several different poses. And then so he was putting all of that in. I was working out all the dialogue and making sure there was a really fun and interesting story that kind of weaves around that. You've got a lot of interesting stories from the local folk, but they incriminate each other. But also some of the answers they give themselves are a little bit incriminating. And you're thinking, what on earth is going on in this village?
Well,
this sleepy little village. It's not all as it appears.
Well, in a murder mystery, you want it to be such that you introduce all the characters, and all the characters look on the surface like they're normal, but they're all dodgy and hiding something. So you're actually thinking, oh, he's the murderer. And then you're thinking, oh, actually, I've just talked to another one, and they can
be a bit suspicious.
They've got a bit of a motive, and they're up to no good. And that's the fun: is you have a group of 6 to 8 characters. They all seem slightly dodgy, but which one actually committed the murder?
And actually, that's for the player to actually interrogate all of these characters, which then open up new storylines, and you actually got to work out who committed the crime and what the motive was, and where is the gun. All of which plays out really nicely in about 20 minutes. With the way RichCast works, we were actually able to both work on the project, but also then encourage other people to start playing it, and we were able to sort of publish it immediately. And that's the beauty of RichCast. And it was a real fun experience actually using the tools that we've actually been helping design and make for the last couple of years. But as I said, we use those tools as anybody else can use them. We didn't use any inside techniques or access to the dev team or anything. So yeah, I mean, it's absolutely perfect tool for people who are creative and want to tell a story and get it out to the world and let people enjoy it.
An interactive story, sort of a well-designed story where you can actually talk to the characters. I mean, we have buttons on the screen, so we can play it like button games, but you can talk to the characters as well, and they talk back. We've deliberately left it with all the AI voices. So I know that many of our RichCast titles are out there. We get actors to redo the voices with a deeper emotion, because AI voices, they're pretty good, and they're certainly extremely useful for while you're developing, because you can just type scripts and choose your characters and they'll speak the script. They are a little bit dry at the moment. It's very, very difficult to get our main actress, Lily, whose father has just been shot, to actually cry and sob while delivering her lines in the first scene. So she's a little bit unemotional considering what's happened. But that's kind of the part of the beauty of being able to turn around these things so fast. And if you wanted, you could dress it up with real actors. We have chosen not to. It starts to have expense then. We didn't have any budget for this.
Yeah, we wanted to sort of show what was possible without sort of reaching out to artists and voice actors and everybody else. We wanted to show what was possible just by us doing it during that time period. And well, you can play it on RichCast, and I hope you really enjoy it.
So sorry, Jarvis, you have some questions.
Yeah, can we take a closer look at Basil?
Of course, go ahead.
Thanks.